Hello friends, my name is Liz Birkland. I'm excited to be reading today from the book of Isaiah, chapters 23 through 27. I hope that you will follow along either in your Bible or just as you listen. So let's get started with chapter 23. The burden of Tyre. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for it is laid waste, so that there is no house, no entering in. From the land of Kittim it is revealed to them. Be still, you inhabitants of the coast, for whom the merchants of Sidon that pass over the sea have replenished. On great waters, the seed of the Shihor, the harvest of the Nile, was her revenue. It was the market of nations. Be ashamed, Sidon, for the sea has spoken, the stronghold of the sea, saying, I have not travailed, nor given birth, neither have I nourished young men, nor brought up virgins. When the report comes to Egypt, they shall be in anguish at the report of Tyre. Pass over to Tarshish. Wail, you inhabitants of the coast. Is this your joyous city, whose antiquity is of ancient days, whose feet carried her far away to travel? Who has planned this against Tyre, the giver of crowns, whose merchants are princes, whose traders are the honorable of the earth? Yahweh of armies has planned it, to stain the pride of all glory, to bring into contempt all the honorable of the earth. Pass through your land like the Nile, daughter of Tarshish. There is no restraint anymore. He has stretched out his hand over the sea. He has shaken the kingdoms. Yahweh has ordered the destruction of Canaan's strongholds. He said, You shall rejoice no more. You oppressed virgin daughter of Sidon, arise, pass over to Kittim. Even there you shall have no rest. Behold, the land of the Chaldeans. This people didn't exist. The Assyrians founded it for those who dwell in the wilderness. They set up their towers, they overthrew its palaces, they made it a ruin. Howl, you ships of Tarshish, for your stronghold is laid waste. It will come to pass in that day that Tyre will be forgotten 70 years, according to the days of one king. After the end of 70 years, it will be to Tyre like in the song of the prostitute. Take a harp. Go about the city, you prostitute that has been forgotten. Make sweet melody. Sing many songs that you may be remembered. It will happen after the end of 70 years that Yahweh will visit Tyre. She will return to her wages, and will play the prostitute with all the kingdoms of the world on the surface of the earth. Her merchandise and her wages will be holiness to Yahweh. It will not be treasured nor laid up, for her merchandise will be for those who dwell before Yahweh, to eat sufficiently and for durable clothing. Chapter 24. Behold, Yahweh makes the earth empty, makes it waste, turns it upside down, and scatters its inhabitants. It will be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with the master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the creditor, so with the debtor, as with the taker of interest, so with the giver of interest. The earth shall be utterly emptied and utterly laid waste, for Yahweh has spoken this word. The earth mourns and fades away. The world languishes and fades away. The lofty people of the earth languish. The earth also is polluted under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the laws, violated the statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore the curse has devoured the earth, and those who dwell therein are found guilty. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men are left. The new wine mourns, the vine languishes, all the merry-hearted sigh. The mirth of tambourines ceases, the sound of those who rejoice ends, the joy of the harp ceases. They will not drink wine with a song. Strong drink will be bitter to those who drink it. The confused city is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying in the streets because of the wine. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. The city is left in desolation, and the gate is struck with destruction. For it will be so within the earth among the peoples, as the shaking of an olive tree, as the gleanings when the vintage is done. These shall lift up their voice. They shall shout for the majesty of Yahweh. They cry aloud from the sea. Therefore glorify Yahweh in the east, even the name of Yahweh, the God of Israel, in the islands of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth we have heard songs. Glory to the righteous. But I said, I pine away, woe is me. The treacherous have dealt treacherously. Yes, the treacherous have dealt very treacherously. Fear, the pit, and the snare are on you who inhabit the earth. It will happen that he who flees from the noise of the fear will fall into the pit, and he who comes up out of the middle of the pit will be taken in the snare. For the windows on high are opened, and the foundations of the earth tremble. The earth is utterly broken, the earth is torn apart, the earth is shaken violently. The earth will stagger like a drunken man, and will sway back and forth like a hammock. Its disobedience will be heavy on it, and it will fall and not rise again. It will happen in that day that Yahweh will punish the army of the high ones on high, and the kings of the earth on the earth. They will be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and they will be shut up in the prison. And after many days they will be visited. Then the moon will be confounded, and the sun ashamed. For Yahweh of armies will reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and glory will be before his elders. Chapter 25. Yahweh, you are my God. I will exalt you. I will praise your name, for you have done wonderful things planned long ago in complete faithfulness and truth. For you have made a city into a heap, a fortified city into a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It will never be built. Therefore, a strong people will glorify you. A city of awesome nations will fear you. For you have been a stronghold to the poor, a stronghold to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shade from the heat, when the blast of the dreaded ones is like a storm against the wall. As the heat in a dry place will bring down the noise of strangers, as the heat by the shade of a cloud, the song of the dreaded ones will be brought low. In this mountain, Yahweh of armies will make all peoples a feast of choice meat, a feast of choice wines, a choice meat full of marrow, of well-refined choice wines. He will destroy in this mountain the surface of the covering that covers all peoples, and the veil that is spread over all nations. He has swallowed up death forever. The Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears from all faces. He will take the reproach of his people away from off all the earth. For Yahweh has spoken it. It shall be said in that day, behold, this is our God. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is Yahweh. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. For Yahweh's hand will rest in the mountain. Moab will be trodden down in his place, even like straw is trodden down in the water of the dunghill. He will spread out his hands in the middle of it, like one who swims spreads out hands to swim, but his pride will be humbled together with the craft of his hands. He has brought the high fortress of your walls down, laid low, and brought to the ground, even to the dust. Chapter 26. In that day, this song will be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. God appoints salvation for walls and bulwarks. Open the gates that the righteous nation may enter, the one which keeps faith. You will keep whoever's mind is steadfast in perfect peace, because he trusts in you. Trust in Yahweh forever, for in Yahweh is an everlasting rock. For he has brought down those who dwell on high, the lofty city. He lays it low even to the ground. He brings it even to the dust. The foot shall tread it down, even the feet of the poor and the steps of the needy. The way of the just is uprightness. You who are upright, make the path of the righteous level. Yes, in the way of your judgments, Yahweh, we have waited for you. Your name and your renown are the desire of our soul. With my soul I have desired you in the night. Yes, with my spirit within me, I will seek you earnestly. For when your judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world learn righteousness. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet he will not learn righteousness. In the land of uprightness, he will deal wrongfully and will not see Yahweh's majesty. Yahweh, your hand is lifted up, yet they don't see. But they will see your zeal for the people and be disappointed. Yes, fire will consume your adversaries. Yahweh, you will ordain peace for us, for you have also done all our work for us. Yahweh, our God, other lords beside you have had dominion over us, but we will only acknowledge your name. The dead shall not live. The departed spirits shall not rise. Therefore you have visited and destroyed them and caused all memory of them to perish. You have increased the nation, O Yahweh. You have increased the nation. You are glorified. You have enlarged all the borders of the land. Yahweh, in trouble they have visited you. They poured out a prayer when your chastening was on them. Just as a woman with child who draws near the time of her delivery is in pain and cries out in her pangs, so we have been before you, Yahweh. We have been with child. We have been in pain. We gave birth, it seems, only to wind. We have not worked any deliverance in the world. Neither have the inhabitants of the world fallen. Your dead shall live. Your dead bodies shall arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in the dust. For your dew is like the dew of herbs, and the earth will cast out the departed spirits. Come, my people, enter into your rooms and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself for a little moment until the indignation is past. For behold, Yahweh comes out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. The earth also will disclose her blood and will no longer cover her slain. Chapter 27. In that day, Yahweh with his hard and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, and Leviathan, the twisted serpent, and he will kill the dragon that is in the sea. In that day, sing to her, a pleasant vineyard. I, Yahweh, am its keeper. I will water it every moment, lest anyone damage it. I will keep it night and day. Wrath is not in me, but if I should find briars and thorns, I would do battle. I would march on them and I would burn them together. Or else let him take hold of my strength that he may make peace with me. Let him make peace with me. In days to come, Jacob will take root. Israel will blossom and bud. They will fill the surface of the world with fruit. Has he struck them as he struck those who struck them? Or are they killed like those who killed them were killed? In the measure, when you send them away, you contend with them. He has removed them with his rough blast in the day of the east wind. Therefore, by this the iniquity of Jacob will be forgiven, and this is all the fruit of taking away his sin, that he makes all the stones of the altar as chalk stones that are beaten in pieces, so that the Asherah poles and the incense altars shall rise no more. For the fortified city is solitary, a habitation deserted and forsaken like the wilderness. The calf will feed there, and there he will lie down and consume its branches. When its boughs are withered, they will be broken off. The women will come and set them on fire, for they are a people of no understanding. Therefore, he who made them will not have compassion on them, and he who formed them will show them no favor. It will happen in that day that Yahweh will thresh from the flowing stream of the Euphrates to the brook of Egypt, and you will be gathered one by one, children of Israel. It will happen in that day that a great trumpet will be blown, and those who were ready to perish in the land of Assyria, and those who were outcasts in the land of Egypt shall come, and they will worship Yahweh at the holy mountain at Jerusalem. This ends today's reading. I hope you have found blessing in this, and I look forward to following along to more Bible in a year with you on other days of readings. Thank you.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to Fear into Faith Global Bible Revival, where we're on a mission to get 1 million people to read the Word of God and see a Bible revival happen. My name is Summer Day. I'm your host, and with me in the studio today is Liz Birkland. Hello, beautiful.
Oh, hello, Summer. I love when you say that. Hello, beautiful.
Yes. Like when I say what? Hello, beautiful.
Yes.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, you were beautiful.
Well, so are you. The amount of belief that you have in me and every single person that you talk to on this is just, it's totally inspiring.
I adore you.
Well,
Just starting off the game with compliments. You're so fabulous.
we all need more of them.
Right?
I do
Amen.
believe. Yes. Yep.
Well, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell everybody where you're from.
Within a moment, you will be able to notice that I am from Minnesota because everything sounds like I'm up north.
That's awesome. So the longer you talk, the more people are going to go, oh, Minnesota.
I hear it.
Hear it. Coming out.
Yep.
And what is it that you do?
I am a life coach. I'm a mom. I'm a wife.
How many kids do you have?
We have 2 sons. Our oldest is 28, and he lives in Omaha, Nebraska. He's a certified public accountant. Our youngest is 22, and he's in college, but he's studying accounting too.
And how long you been married?
We will be married 31 years in December. I know. Yeah.
What is your secret to being married that long?
I was so lucky. God truly blessed me with the man I'm married to. Yeah. I've spent my whole life looking for someone like him and found him. Yeah.
I love it. So that's a good message. Don't be afraid to spend a little more time looking.
And I spent time.
It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I love it.
Yeah.
You just finished doing your reading. How did that go? Were you nervous?
I was a little nervous.
nervous.
I think one of the things that I get nervous about is I am generally a little more laid back. People think I'm serious. People think I'm not interested because I'm just a little more laid back. And so trying to put more energy into it.
Yeah.
And they told me before I started filming that the camera was going to suck energy out of me.
It does. It's crazy.
Well, and I still find anytime I'm like doing a Facebook Live or, doing something, speaking, it's like, no, you've got to amp the energy up. And I keep thinking about, I was a cheerleader in high school and like that was one of the coolest things ever. But I wonder if I had enough energy back then even. So I don't know.
You had to up your energy in the other room. Awesome. Did you enjoy the scriptures you got to read?
I did. Yeah. Yeah. 2 Chronicles, there were a lot of names in there and a lot of stumbling, a lot of practicing ahead of time. But it's kind of like, you know what? God's going to have me say, pronounce them the way I'm supposed to, and we're just sharing God's word. So,
I've read the Bible now 4 times. And even then, you don't realize just how many names are in the Bible until you decide to produce this TV show. And you're dividing it all up, and you're like, oh, that person's going to have a lot of names. And so we're having to let people know, first of all, we don't need perfection. And second of all, there's a lot of sections with names, and we have to get through the Old Testament before the New Testament. So thank you for being willing to go through those, even if maybe you weren't as confident as you would have liked to have been.
Well, and without reading the Bible cover to cover, you don't know if you've read it all.
Yeah.
Who knows if I had read that part before, ever.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've listened to the Bible cover to cover before, but I've never read it for myself. Wow. So, yeah,
I love it.
it's an awesome opportunity.
I think there's authority that comes when you finish and you know it, and you know you read every word in there. What made you say yes to this project?
God has done so much for me in just the last year and a half. And to be able to, I've been craving him more and more and more.
Yeah.
And to be able to participate in this, to be able to help share this, to help get his story out so that the rest of us can get our stories out. I really I think about how much glory God deserves. And maybe we don't give enough. We may think it, we don't want to take it for granted.
Yeah.
And by sharing his word, that's part of what I want to do, is to be a vessel for him.
Yeah.
So
Why do you think it's important for people to read the word themselves? You listen to the whole audio, but why is it important to read it?
I do think part of it is just different learning styles, perhaps, too. I tend to do better when I read versus listen.
Yeah.
But when you start bringing it in from your eyes, there's the physical motion of moving your mouth and speaking the word. And then there's the audio part that it comes out. So you're getting 3 different views of his word by reading it and speaking it.
Wow. Amen. I love it. I love it. Well, let's talk a little bit about your journey with the Lord. I don't actually know the answer to this question, even though we're friends. Were you raised in the church?
Yes, technically.
Technically. No one on the show so far, Liz, has had a technically answer. So please explain.
Yeah. So my mom was raised in the Lutheran Church, married my dad, who I think was baptized right before they were married.
Okay.
And he was an officer in the U.S. Army and was in Vietnam when I was sent to Vietnam when I was 4. My little sister was a year and a half old. And when I was 5, he was killed in Vietnam.
Oh, my gosh.
And my mom, being raised in the church, she and I never talked about this, but I really think she had a falling out with God after my dad was killed. Yeah. And
rightfully so. I mean, I can imagine that was really hard being a young mom, 5-year-old, 1.5-year-old, husband dying in Vietnam.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. And so we continued to go to church. I think she did get comfort from the ultimate knowledge that she was saved, that my dad was saved. And we went to church, but it honestly was like, I went to confirmation and didn't listen to a word because I was more interested in the boys who were there. And I admit that, like right off. And then went to a Lutheran college, in fact. But I think I went to chapel once. I mean, we went to church, but it was just a rote existence. Like we were there for
just to check the box?
Kind of. Like I wasn't quite sure what it was. It was definitely religion versus faith.
Okay.
And even meeting my husband, we were married in the church. I joined his Lutheran church. We would have conversations, or I would be struggling with things. I'd get a new job. I would rearrange the living room, whatever it was. And Pete would encourage me, but he always had his tagline, Liz, I think you're looking for Jesus.
Wow.
And he's so...
I'm going to pause you right there.
Okay.
We're going to leave everyone hanging on I think you're looking for Jesus. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Wow.
The number one tool for generational wealth is and always has been real estate. Property ownership is the most trusted financial security, and there's so many benefits. Most people lack the information, education, and more importantly, the mindset to make real estate repeatable and profitable. Until now. Our step-by-step approach will give you the knowledge and tools necessary to help you grow your portfolio. Check me out, ToneRobinson.com.
God said, "Let there be light," and there was light.
Have you ever read the Bible from cover to cover? Then join us on Global Bible Revival. Right here on Zondra TV.
We are back, and we've got Liz Birkland here. And what a cliffhanger. Yeah. So your husband started telling you, no matter whatever the issue was, you even talked about rearranging furniture, and he said, "I think you're looking for Jesus."
Absolutely.
Got to tell me more about that.
I was, without knowing it at the time, I was totally empty. I can't tell you for sure the words that came out of my parents' mouths, but when my dad went to Vietnam, at some point I am certain that they would have said to me, the 4 and 5-year-old little girl, "Daddy's coming home." And if I couldn't trust them to come through with what was going on, to make Daddy come home when they said they would. They were the people who took care of me, who I relied on. How could I trust God who I didn't know? I knew of him in name. I say that I believed in God. I've always believed in God.
Yeah.
It's only recently I started believing him.
Wow.
And having that relationship with him.
That's really powerful. So I want to say, so you believed in God, but you didn't believe him.
Mm-mm. No.
Wow.
No.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone phrase it that way. What a huge difference.
It's a huge, huge difference. And so there were so many things I was looking for, Summer.
Yeah.
I was looking for acknowledgement. I was looking for reassurance, validation. I was looking for love. Growing up, I wanted a boyfriend.
Yeah.
My mom never remarried. That's another thing to say, is that she raised me and my little sister on her own. And we had a couple men in our lives, family members, but I never had a dad figure.
Yeah.
I didn't have brothers. I didn't know what it was like. And I was looking for love.
Mm-hmm.
And not knowing that it was from God that I was supposed to get it. Wow. And so, fast forward to in my 40s, and I've got my sons, I've got a wonderful marriage, but I'm still looking for things.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
And my husband, Peter, I call him just so wise. Mm-hmm. And he is such a solid man. And I'm so blessed. But for him to say, "I think you're looking for Jesus." Yeah. I honestly, it was such insight. Because I don't know that I would have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So when did you find Jesus then? What happened?
Finding Jesus was still 20-some years ago, almost 30 years ago. But I have to share something that was so instrumental in my journey that until recently I didn't see what a role it played.
Yeah.
When I was in my mid-20s and dating and still looking for love, I found myself unexpectedly pregnant.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't stand up for myself enough to ask the father of the baby if he'd marry me, if he'd support me if I had the baby. I didn't ask family members for support. I just kind of went along, and I had an abortion.
Wow.
But never dealt with it. I grew up, we never dealt with it.
You can check out the rest of this interview right here or by going to BibleRevival.tv. And if this show has blessed you, you can help us bless others by partnering with us for as little as $20 a month and help us to expand the reach of this show. We'd also like to invite you to join our Kingdom Discipleship Program, where you have an opportunity to get on weekly Bible Zoom calls with us and people around the world to deep dive into His Word. And you can check all that out at BibleRevival.tv. I'll see you next time, my friend.